Alright guys, today I'm back with another video and it's gonna be basically about the basics of JavaScript. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please consider joining the family. Last week I uploaded a video that was about manipulating the DOM. If you didn't, go ahead and watch the video over here or here, and then you'll get a clear idea of how to manipulate the DOM with JavaScript. So let's get into the basics. And the first thing to learn in JavaScript is how to print anything. So you can use this when you're testing whatever in some instances. So if you're testing numbers that you're adding up, or if you're testing if a variable exists. So normally you would use this variable, you use this method. So it's a built-in method. You'd use this method to print anything. Okay, so and if we test this, there we go, you can see the high there. All right, so the next thing that you need to learn in JavaScript would be assigning variables. In the latest JavaScript version, we have late, which replaces var, late your name, castle coder. Then we can assign anything. But before we assign anything, let's test our console.log. So notice the difference here. Here we were printing the actual, we were hard coding the actual code or variable or data, okay? And the data was high there, okay? So that was hard coded. In normal cases, you're not gonna do this. You're not gonna print out anything hard coded. You're gonna print variables that are assigned into memory. And right now what we have in memory is the name. So we've declared a variable action and assigned it that string. So let's say if we want to reassign that, let's test what's gonna happen if we reassign that. First things first, let's first print, and then that's gonna be action. Let's first delete that. So let's test if that can be printed. So it looks like it can be printed. Then now let's something else. Let's test what happens. So what do you think is going to be printed out in this case? We've assigned. Initially, we assigned the action constant. Action as a constant, meaning it can never change. And then right now we are, let me get some space there. We are reassigning it. So take a moment, pause the video, and guess what's going to happen next. I hope you were right. So let's print. There we go. So we get an error. What does the error say? Assignment to a constant variable. So we can't assign, once we assign a variable, constant variable, that's it. That is it. We can never reassign it again. Okay? So in other programming languages, what would happen is that this same string would have been printed. Okay? It would have been printed. So something to note right there is that once you assign a variable that is constant, it can never change, or else you're gonna get an error. So moving forward, I'm gonna leave that in. We are gonna learn how to comment. So most times at my workplace, people we always encourage a culture of commenting. Okay, comment your code so that somebody else, if you're recruiting a new employee, they can figure out what's going on. And in JavaScript, how do we comment? I'm using VS Code, which makes life so simple. Okay, so what you do, you can highlight whatever you need to comment and then press command / that happens. That's how we comment in JavaScript. It's just a // If you want to comment out multiple, all right, multiple lines of code, you would, let's say if VS Code would comment, okay, it just makes // but if you want to do that, then you would that's how you would comment multiple lines of code in JavaScript. Moving forward, the next thing we're gonna do is how to manipulate using arithmetic operations. Okay, so how to calculate numbers in JavaScript and whatnot. And then leave a gap, because if you don't leave a gap, the words are going to be squeezed together. So there are, remember you want to print 20. There are, so you literally imagine there is a 20 here. There are 20, leave a gap, 20 years, leave a gap, plus, then since this is a variable, today, you don't need to put it into quotes, and add, then space. You can see auto type. So if you need this to be into VS Code, just go ahead and install tab 9 to help you with that autocomplete. But so there are 20 years between today and never forget that, today and whatever year we wanted. Okay? Print that. There are 20 years between 2022 and 2000. Okay, look at that's a variable, that's a variable, that's a variable. It's already in memory. Cool. That looks good. So we can move forward to actual calculation. So that was minus. So we can use additions as well. So you can use it. I believe we've no, sorry, we need to add let's So the grocery bag had 34 items, 22 oranges and 12 mangoes. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. So that's addition. We can use the same variables to subtract. Okay, so instead of add, we we did subtraction, so we're gonna do divide. So I just want to make sure this makes more sense. Dash origin. Alright, the grocery bag had dash divide. Okay. So for the sense of the video, let's just make it simple. So it looks like it's gonna make a number. A float. So let's move on to finding a remainder. So with remainders, we use a modulus. And how we do that is that I'm gonna use these same variables. This is the beauty of using variables because they are already in memory. The 10 oranges when divided by 12 mangoes. Okay, so it looks like mathematic operations are done, arithmetic operations are done, and right now we're gonna move forward to the inbuilt functions of JavaScript. Right now we're moving forward to the functions, but before we move forward to the functions, please take a single second and then subscribe to the channel. So the first function we're gonna look at in JavaScript is the roundoff. And the way we create that method, because it's built in, we just call the math, then round. So remember earlier on we had a divide, okay? So this divide add that variable in there, and then we'll print to see what's going on. We would call that method, that variable called roundoff. So I guess you can see that it was 1.8, and if you round off, it's gonna be 2. Okay, pretty interesting, right? The second built-in method we're gonna look at is the flow, and I'll show you how that works. So the next built-in method we're gonna look at is the length, and this is used counting the length of strings. What are strings? Strings are words, okay? Words. So let's say channel castle recorder. Then we can print it right away. Then we're gonna say channel dot length. So that word has 13 characters, considering the space as well, right? Another method we can look at is seeing the characters, pulling a character from that word. So we can say channel dot character at, and square brackets, then we can assign in any value. Remember, when we're counting strings in programming, we start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, that would be S. If we print that, and there is an error. So that would be S. Okay. The next method would be slice. Slice. So how slice works, let's see what this prints. So it gets in two variables or two arguments, sorry. So the first one is where to begin and the last one is where to end. Let's see what this prints. So it looks like this prints from 0 to the last. So if you want to pull anything that is at the end of a string in JavaScript, is that you use the channel.length. Although this prints the length of the whole word, you can use the same to print a character at the end of string. Let's test that. Let's test that real quick. Console.log. First, you need to begin with channel.character add. Then, if you want to find out the character at the end of a string, then again you use channel.length, subtract 1. Remember, when we're counting the number of strings, we don't start from 0. Okay? This method does not start from 0. Get me right. This method does not start from 0. However, if we're counting the index, what do I mean by index? Index is M, that is 1 index, 2 indexes, 3 indexes, 4 indexes. If we're counting the indexes, we start from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. If you want to find the index at 4, you would start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? If you want to count the length of the string, you're going to start from 1, 2, because there is no length that is 0. Hope that makes sense. All right? So moving back to slice and comment this. So let's say we wanna, because there's no point of using 0 to the end of this, all right? Because that's, you would just use length to print that out. I mean, you would just print the whole character, whole variable. So if you want to print from, let's say, the 3rd index to the end. Okay, see that? So if you want to print from the 3rd index to the end of the string, you give the first argument where you want to begin and then where you want to end. So let's say we want to print from the 3rd to the 6th. That's it. Okay, so that was a short video. I'm gonna be coming with more weird parts of JavaScript. So this was the basics. We talked about inbuilt functions. We talked about arithmetic operations on JavaScript. We talked about assigning variables, and we talked about constants and let, and then we talked about commanding. We talked about printing using the console.log. So this can also work within a browser. So the last thing in this session is going to be using functions to modularize our programming. So it's very nice to use functions. So whatever we're doing in here was procedure programming. You literally you're creating a function and moving step by step to assign or store However, with functions, you're gonna see how beautiful it is to use function in the next session.